Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. And I suppose that's Christmas. And everything it stands for, the kindness, the joy, the love, the singing, and all the other intangibles. They say we live in a world where lovely intangibles aren't worth much. It's not realistic. Yet, someday, I think we all find out that the realistic way of facing this realistic world just doesn't work. And we discover that those lovely intangibles are the only things that are worthwhile. Those are the miracles I see every day of my life. Those are the miracles of singing. Those are the miracles on 38th Street. How do you know when you've witnessed a miracle? In this day and age, most people don't even believe in miracles. And if they do, they don't think that they can happen to them. Or they don't believe they can happen very often. But it's actually not true. In fact, miracles happen every day. You just gotta get good at spotting them and appreciating them. And once you do, you start to see them happen more and more. Years ago, I actually started keeping a miracle journal. I did this when I began to realize miracles were happening all around me. So many, I didn't want to miss even one. So every day I keep my miracle book, and every day I see at least one miracle, sometimes several. The truth is, our lives are blessed. Sure, there's tons of terrible stuff that happens in the world all the time, tremendous pain and suffering. But there's also so many beautiful things that happen. It's easy to focus on the pain so much that you forget to see the joy. It's easy to get all caught up in the talk so much that you forget to sing. It's easy to be so logical and reasonable that you can't even see them anymore. The miracles. So in case they've been whizzing by you lately, here's some vocal miracles to remember. The first vocal miracle is the vocal folds themselves. Inside your larynx, you have two vocal folds that are no longer than your pinky nail. These are teeny tiny little sacs of tissue, squamous cells, and muscle. Yet these little guys vibrate hundreds, even thousands of times per second, much faster than a hummingbird's wings. They move so quickly, you can't even see them. That's why when you go to the voice doctor, they've got to use a special kind of camera, because you can't see the movement with the human eye. Now, some people will tell you that the evolutionary purpose of the vocal folds is regulating the airway, protecting the trachea, changing the breath and blood pressure. Well, the vocal folds do all those things too, but to me, it's more than a coincidence. It's a miracle that these little pieces of tissue, cells, and muscle are capable of producing high notes, low notes, loud notes, soft notes, long notes, short notes, all the while lifting our spirits, bringing us to tears, or leaving us in breathless awe. Sometimes God uses the weak things of the world to confound the mighty, and the vocal folds are the weakest thing you can imagine, capable of glory. The second vocal miracle is that your voice is the only musical instrument that is you. You can play the piano, you can play the guitar, you could play the didgeridoo, but no matter what instrument you play, you're making beauty. But the singing voice is the only instrument that doesn't just come from you, but is you. Well, just think, don't you have beauty inside you? You know you do. I know you do. And doesn't that beauty just want to come out? Well, of course it does. What good is beauty if it can't be shared? And singing is one of the best ways to share it. But our greatest fear as humans isn't failure. It's not disappointment. It's not even death. Our greatest fear is realizing how beautiful we are in the eyes of God. What, Justin? How could my voice be beautiful? Don't you hear how many problems it has? Don't you hear how bad I sound? Okay. Well, what if you just believe me for 1 second on one thing? That when God looks at your mess, God sees a masterpiece. And when God hears your voice, God worries that the angels might be getting a little jealous. People might not value you, but God values you. He cherishes you, and He cherishes your voice. The third vocal miracle is that the voice is connected to your soul. I've heard it said that singing is praying twice. In other words, when we pray, we're using our words to connect with God. And when we make music, we're creating something that can connect us to the Creator. But when we sing, we're using both our words and our music, combining the two together in one. That's why singing is our ultimate tool for praise. Even when you're not using your voice in a worship kind of way, there's something magical about it, right? Something spiritual. Something that starts to melt the heart walls of the most cynical person. Something that starts to heal the wounds of someone experiencing deep suffering. It's not that easy to connect to our spiritual selves sometimes. We don't feel like connecting to God. We don't feel spiritual inside. We don't feel like praying. But maybe the best first step for finding our soulfulness is just to sing. The fourth vocal miracle is that singing is the instrument that changes lives. I wasn't always a spiritual person. In fact, I used to be a hardcore agnostic. But before I believed in God, I believed in singing. And what I noticed is that every time I made a step forward in my singing life, I also made a step forward in my inner life. Somehow singing was making me better, more confident, more myself, more connected to the things that matter. But I also realized that as I made steps forward as a person, my voice just magically got better. It didn't take me long to realize that the inner journey and the vocal journey connect at the crossroads of the soul. I can truly say that singing changed my life. That's why teaching voice means so much to me. Every day, singers come and visit us in New York from just about every country I can imagine. And that leads me to the fifth vocal miracle: all of you. In my life, I'm blessed to say that miracles happen literally every day. But it's not just the singing that's going on here at New York Vocal Coaching. It's all of you. You continue to send your questions, encouragements, blessings, and beautiful stories of how singing has changed your life. When I started Voice Lessons to the World, I wanted to give the gift of vocal training to people in places that couldn't afford singing lessons or didn't have access to good voice lessons. But I never thought I would be bombarded on a daily basis by questions, encouraging words, heartwarming stories about how singing is changing your lives. This is definitely a huge miracle from my miracle book. So keep the questions coming. Merry Christmas, singers!